Hello, guys. Today we will start presenting one of the technologies that we 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 did some explorations in our last blog posts. We did a research and for some technologies that will help us in the projects for data lake house project. And the last blog post that we focus mainly in using some visualization tool, and we choose the Apache Superset that because this tool here is a very good open source and widely used around the globe for big techs like Facebook and even Yahoo and Netflix. They are using internally to provide some visualization capabilities for their business cases. And not differently here in White Prompt, we are always trying to see new technologies and how we can help our clients to deliver and receive more perception and extracting more insights and helping them to take some advantage between their competitions in the markets. Let's start our presentation here. Okay. Okay. Our agenda here, we just going through an overview of our superset and with supported databases we can connect and extract information from there. Our proposal solution architecture and how we build it inside AWS mainly here. And we go through a demo and we start one environment inside AWS and exploring and retrieving data from one data source. Okay, and even in our final, we have some questions. We will open for everyone here just to ask everything that we want about this architecture and other technical perspectives. And here we just have a super fast definition of what is exactly superset. And how we see here, superset is a 100% free, and this is an open source project that many businesses around the globe are contributing for increasing the new capabilities. And this last week, Apache just launched the 2.0 version of Apache Superset with many incredible new features and bug solutions and many other good things. Apache Superset is 100% developed in Python. And for those who love Python, you can create your branch or your fork and start doing different things inside your uh, release of supersets. Okay, and we can deploy Apache Superset using containers. And this is how you do now, but you can try different approaches, installing directly in your own machine, containers in locally, for example, using only Docker, or in high availability solutions using, for example, Kubernetes. Okay. It's extremely powerful tool. Okay, we have many options not only for creating some dashboards and charts, but it's useful because you can have, for example, a SQL user interface like your installed in our machine, for example. Sometimes we are using the Beaver or other SQL management solutions, and we can do the same things in this web-based platform inside Superset. Okay, Superset has support in even is using the capabilities of SQL Alchemy. So SQL Alchemy is a widely used library in Python and provides for us a rich interface for connecting in almost everything that is SQL relational databases. Okay, the architecture of Apache Superset was defined to be one of the best for data visualization tools. And they provided for us, for example, not only in terms of architecture, we you have one application that is Superset itself, but we have one database that store Superset configurations, user permissions, and even datasets configurations related to connectors. And Superset relies in a cache component that you'll be using, for example, Redis for this component, and to provide more speed and reliability for this platform. And this slide here is showing just a couple of options that you'll be able to explore and going through these databases here and platforms. But here in this link, we will make this slide available for everyone. You go directly for the Apache Superset page with their very good documentation that has everything about the available options to connecting many different databases with not only those one here. Here you have this this image here represented exactly what we did in our last blog post. But for our architecture now, we will only just focus using Amazon Athena, okay? Because for using Apache, sorry, for using Redshift, in this case here Apache Redshift Spectrum, you need to deploy this cluster, and this will take more time, and Redshift Spectrum you cost a little bit more for us, and just going using this serverless solution, and we already have the processed data inside some buckets that we did before, and even we are relying in the capabilities of AWS Glue to provide for us a unified data catalog and metadata informations, and even the schema registry that AWS Glue has inside we had defined in our previous blog posts, and then I can provide the link of this one with our GitHub repository that you will be having everything to provide exactly this infrastructure using Terraform. And now let's go for our demo. Okay, I will open here an EC2 instance that I will have deployed my Docker container inside. But let me just open this one here, just a second. Um, Let me just quit this one. Uh, the instance that you use for connect and see exactly the solution inside is this one here. Let me copy the address here and activate. Here's the repository of the solution. And we have here Docker Compose with everything that you'll be needed for us here. Apache Superset support not only PostgreSQL database as its backend, let's say, but this database for starting configurations. It supports MySQL and Oracle. Yeah, your Oracle for starting configurations. But for simple use cases, we just choose PostgreSQL database. Hedges for UB cache engine for Superset, and here the container for Superset. Uh, our latest blog post was using the Apache Superset 1.5.1, and previously, some moments before our presentation now, I just see a new version of Apache Superset 2.0, and then I just made some updates and create a new version of for this Docker image here, and then you create this environment using this new version. Okay. And more configurations here. For example, you're using the original Superset image and installing some other libraries here. And for example, this one here was chosen just, for example, if someone else is trying, for example, integrate the authentication with Active Directory, then this library here will be needed for this. Here we have other scripts that you help us in the Bootstrap steps, and even for creating the administrator rules user for Superset, and to create the objects inside the database, and doing everything from scratch and set up this new environment. And here we have one custom Apache Superset Python scripts that provide for us many options. It's a simple Python. And for example, we can enable the Swagger UI and for example, if I want to integrate my Apache Superset with other applications, I'll be able to do this, and just by using the available routes from this application using Swagger. And here, for example, we have the configurations for our cache using Redis. And example, this section here, if let's say if I have some requirements in one project to enable OAuth authentication with Google and Apache Superset, you provide this capability for us. And this is the main section of configuration. And you need just to change this authentication type here from AuthDB. This means that you use internally administrating by Superset, those users and roles and permissions. And now this deployment, and just put auth, ouch, I think is this one here, this option, auth instead of authDB. And many more configurations out of the box is possible to do here. For example, it's possible to enable self-registration for users, and just enabling this option here. And let's say if I want to give administrator permissions for new registered users, and just remove this comment here and change the role here, and then just put admin. And everyone that is self-registering inside the superset, you'll be automatically attached for administrator role. And completely customized this solution here. And for example, Superset has one option that allows more people, for example, our data analysts, to upload data, not only connecting in other, for example, SQL databases, but let's say if you have some requirements to upload some Excel files. And we just put here the extensions that we allow our customers to do this, and put inside this one here, and you'll be able to upload Excel files and exporting the data that exists inside. And it's possible, for example, to customize languages. Apache Superset support not only those for here, I just put the main ones, but they have more than 10 languages automatically, not automatically, but 100% supported. And then you can choose exactly how I will show you guys now, and changing your language of your application. And here our predefined databases, then this list here could be changed whatever you want, and put other databases name here. Let's go to the action. You see here, this script is automatically creating the administrator user, but how as I did before, uh, we start this presentation here, the objects of databases was previously created. And for example, here, apply migrations. We don't see nothing here, just skipping from one to the second step. The user administrator already exists inside. and our application is up. I'm just changing here, and let me log off here. This will be the initial page, the login page, okay? And the default user is admin and password admin. I did this intentionally just to be easier to the first access, but we can change it later. Access, our first login. And the first option that I show is this one here, for example, the translations. This is not by default, but for example, let's change for Spanish. Just reload the page and you show for us here. Everything was changed from English to Spanish. Let's go back to English. And here, for example, you have this home page. So this home page here, you have your recent objects. Inside this one here could be showing for you dashboards and even charts. And in those two here, you have only dashboards and only charts that we are working on. We don't have nothing now, as you can see here. And inside database, we already have one connection for Amazon Athena, but let's remove it. I did one test before, and I created uh, together with you guys. Just to show the available options. Here, upload file to databases. CSV, columnar files. Those options here was privileged as I showed. Columnar files, for example, is commonly used Parquet files and Excel and even CSV files here. For databases, this list here is exactly what I defined inside the superset config file, but we have more options here. For example, Redshift, Druid, Spark SQL, MySQL, Postgre, Azure Synapse, SQL Server, MySQL, Presto, SQLite, and others. If you choose other here, you'll be able to connect in almost everything just using SQL Alchemy dialect. But for our case, let's go back and go to use Amazon Athena. Uh, there is no problem to show here the secret key and access key because I revoke the access once you finish this presentation. But we have two options to access Amazon Athena through Superset, using directly REST API or using JDBC connection. But I just choose using REST. And here you need to have one secret key and access key from your user for that could be your personal user or one service user that you can set up inside your AWS account. And here you have our endpoint of Athena and our region. Let me go back here. The main database that is inside our Athena and connected with the S3 catalog. And this bucket here is needed for staging results that Superset will create everything inside this folder, Athena logs. Let's test connection. Okay, looks good. Connect. Okay, yeah, let's go. As I mentioned before, we have here a SQL editor as a EDF. For example, your main used tool for administering SQL databases. You will have this option here to export. For example, here I have some schemas, and let's just switch here and show exactly how this is the AWS Athena, and here databases, they are the same here as we are seeing inside Superset. And I choose this one here, Trusted New York City. And what I have? What is the table here? Let me go back and see. New York City tax, trusted. Well, the tables are there. Let me just open this. Yeah, we have one file that does not exist inside here. Let's change for my lake house and payment method type. Everything working here. Let's see this one. No, it's the same. Tax type. Yeah, let's change. And whoa, what's happening, Superset? The tables exist here. You are seeing tax type, payment method type, time spent tax type. Let me do a small test here. Just
Maybe
copying this SQL
updating.
query. Sorry?
When you select the table, the data set, you can update. You have a button there, the
No,
one that is
yeah, I have this button
no, no,
here
no,
just to
right next to the combo box. Is that a button in the
this one
other
here.
in the other tab? Right next to the combo box, you have a combo that one. No,
Yeah, just updating here, forcing refresh table list. It said here for us, list updated, but no data. But we have this data here. Let me try this SQL query. Yeah, I think we discovered a bug inside Superset. Because, for example, we are using Superset in one of our projects, and one client here in White Prompt, and they are connecting in BigQuery, and everything showing perfectly. But I don't know exactly why we are having some trouble using now other table.
Does it have some time that it takes to list the new connections or something that
Mm,
might be require some minutes to display
mm,
data?
I don't remember, but it's automatically, for example, because here we have the names of the schemas and databases,
Mm-hmm.
and this should be updating in real time here for table schemas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, strange. Okay, but let's go and I can
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at least
continue
we can
doing.
see the data and yeah.
Yeah, we can see the
Mm-hmm.
data just coming here in Athena and choosing the table and retrieving the SQL command and going to the final here. Then just to don't emulate and create a chart. As I choosing this create chart option here just to create a data set. Okay, for example, if I go here and choose this option, open new page, data set, then we have this data set. It represents exactly the table. And you need, sorry, we need a data set just to start creating charts, for example. This option here goes automatically and create a new tab for us. But let's say if I want to create a data set from scratch, okay? And let me delete this one just to don't have two with the same name. And then we create the data set from scratch. Yeah, no. The best option until we discover how to overcome this bug, you'll be going by this button here. Okay, and here, for example, or This is the page after, for example, if you come here in charts and choose the option to create a new chart. And because we already have the data set created, and just select from your list and just choose this table, for example. And then we have this metric of count and the payment types here and total payment, for example. And we can use the dimension of this one and metrics of count. We just have one kind of for each one. And let's mhm. Yeah, but not exactly the count. Here you'll be inverting. Sorry, payment type.
Shouldn't be percentage metrics.
Yeah, could be. But here is just um, this is just because the visualization type.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, let's try this one. No, what the hell? Top payments. And not exactly what I trying to show here. I try to show exactly one different thing here.
Go back to the previous chart and use the percentage metrics. And you will have different percentages according to the value, to the total payment. Don't use count.
Like here, you mean? In
Yes, but
percentage?
the idea is to have the percentage of not
Yeah,
like that according to the value, the
yes,
total payment.
yes. It's exactly what I trying to show you here.
Okay.
According to the total payment, showing among other payment types here, how this is representing.
And if you use in metrics, can you use sum or something like that?
Yeah, I can do it here, for example, total payment and
Yes, that
uh,
sum.
some.
No.
No, and then you need to change it here and dimension here.
Right,
Yeah,
like that.
this one here. Yeah. And if we change and yeah, we can using tables or yeah, this one. And here we can go in customizing
Of course.
and you choose, for example, in label type here, because we are just seeing the name, but I want to change it and show more information. And here we can have the total amount and the percentage among other types here. Yeah, we have a null here. No charge and dispute of payments with payment tax, credit card, and cash. We can, for example, show this as a donut and
What is the main difference between these? Kibana. I use Kibana. but I
Yeah,
didn't implement Kibana. I just was a user, a common user.
yeah.
So, do you know Kibana and what is the difference between Kibana and this?
Kibana is it was created for use with Elasticsearch.
Okay,
And
that
for example, Elasticsearch, that the data is organized in indexes. And for example, and then those indexes are created inside Apache Lucene, is a open source solution, and the information is organized inside it as indexes. And I don't know, but I think it's possible to use
the main
Elasticsearch.
difference that is that Superset uses different sources,
Yeah, Kibana is just for
just for
Elasticsearch.
Elasticsearch.
Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
okay, thank you.
But if I'm not wrong, let me just go back here in my presentation and open one link here. This is the link for the data sources available, and we can, yeah, they support Elasticsearch too. Yeah, it's possible to
Excellent,
create indexes inside Elasticsearch using Superset. I never tried it, but I remember just one time was reading the documentation in Elasticsearch, and it's good to try and see if Superset is better than Kibana. I don't know exactly in terms of performance. If
okay,
Superset will be better than Kibana because Kibana is native build for Elasticsearch.
okay.
And here we can just save and implement types, for example, and we have this chart saved, and we have it here. And let's choose an option here to create data or dashboard. And you have here the available charts and more elements here, let's say. And we can, for example, create tabs, number one, and create another, no, new here, and two, and as you want. And then putting specifically charts inside each tab here with some specific insights, for example. Or for here, we can put one row inside this. No, the row was outside. It's difficult to put inside. Okay, let's go and get this chart. I was fighting with this option some time ago because if you use tabs, sometimes it's easier to put rows inside tabs. I don't know why exactly, but let's remove tabs here and just use the chart itself inside it, this one here. Okay, and we can adjust the size of your chart inside it, for example, this one, and put two or more here. And we have more options here. For example, we can put some CSS to change the layout of this dashboard. And for example, we can set here an interval for refreshing data. And then we don't need to go inside your browser and refreshing data, and just, for example, set this for 5 minutes. And in each 5 minutes, your dashboard will be automatically updated with your data source data.
Of course.
Just save
I
it
remember
here.
in my previous project, they used to use this superset.
Yeah,
We just run a query. Yes, just a simple query on a table, but some other guys, the operation guys, used to have this kind of dashboards that
Yeah,
have tables and lot of charts on it.
cool.
And
Yeah,
I realize now that they were from different sources, not
yeah, it's
just one
possible.
database. Yes,
Yeah,
so
it's
that's
possible.
why we were using Superset on
Yeah,
that
it's
part.
possible to have many sources and each chart retrieving data from each one of your sources. And for example, here it's possible to download this chart here as an image or share it, for example, retrieving a permalink and send it for other people, or for example, just sending by email. And you can enter in full screen. As you are in full screen, uh, you don't see the Superset logo and even the Superset menus here. And we can add filters here, or let's say using one value from this data set here. And let's choose payment type. Hope apply for all panels. And let's choose here, just put and apply. Then you see only the filter applied. But the interesting thing here, we can choose more than just 2 times, not only one. And you'll be applied automatically for your filter. I think it's this, guys, for this time. Uh, I try to communicate with Superset committers and see exactly what is happening and why we can't see the databases, the tables that exist inside this database, because we are seeing tables here in Athena, but now we don't see nothing here. I'll try this and see if they have some ideas and why we're not seeing tables here.
Okay.
Is it? Thanks so much for your time and to join us here in this call.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Awesome. Thank you. Really interesting.
See you guys. Have a nice weekend.
Bye
Same
bye.
for you. See you
See you.
guys.
Bye bye.